in the beauty salon, over the fence, and during brunch. Right here, right now, this is Our Voices. The hottest internet talk show where women get vocal. Today's topic is about career versus children. Do you choose a career over your children? And be quite frank with you, there are lots of women who choose their career. But the question is, what defines that type of woman? Is she considered a bad mother or a good mother? What defines a career woman who is also a mommy? Miss Linda, okay, I got you, Bindu, go ahead.
Ambition, want to give to the world, knowledge, impart knowledge. Example, Barbara Walters. Barbara Walters is such a great person, and she has interviewed almost every world leader. Everybody look up to Barbara Walters. She's iconic. Now, if Barbara Walters was to sit down and do nothing, can you imagine there will be, who will take the place of Barbara Walters? No one.
Well, that's a really good, valid point, because Barbara Walters has been a working mom for quite some time. And to be honest with you, what would the world be like if she wasn't there? But that's coming from our perspective. What about from her daughter's perspective? That's what the big question is. And if in case, is she still considered a good mom? So what would really define a good mom if she's choosing her career as far as quality time over with her child? Ms. Linda, how would you define that kind of woman?
First of all, if you're a woman that wants to have a high-powered career, and they don't feel that they're going to have time to have, quality time with their children, I think those women should hold off on having kids. They need to hold off on having kids until they're maybe a little bit later in life and set and know what they want and can figure out the
child. When will that ever be?
If you cannot have quality time with your child, why are you having a child?
I disagree.
Excuse me?
I don't think that you have to have quality time every day with your child.
Yes.
Ooh, I don't know.
I don't believe that
You know what?
have to
Okay.
be.
That's when you come into problems with teenagers, teen pregnancy, you have alcohol, drug abuse, you have boyfriends sneaking in, you have all kinds of stuff going on if there's not supervision. What?
Excuse me, you're talking about teen pregnancy. The kids nowadays are having sex at the school.
And do you think that's right?
At the
I don't
school.
think that's right.
Well, regardless of whether they're having it at the school or not, the bottom line is, would it be happening if their moms were at home with them?
No, it
That's
would
what
not
au
be
pairs-
happening. Not as often as it is right now. There's so many women in these high-powered positions, that are having a babysitter look after their child, or a daycare, or a family member, but those children are spending quality time with these people, but they're not really connecting with their mom anymore.
Linda, would you give the same recommendation that you said that you should hold off with kids until you have that high-powered career? I mean, it's finished, or you're where are you at with children? Would you make that same recommendation to a man?
Good
It's
point.
different.
No.
Well, let her make her point. Let her make her point, because we asked the question.
I'm done.
No, Miranda, listen.
No.
My point is, when you get married, you have these conversations. Are you going to work when we have kids? Or am I going to stay home?
That is so true.
If you don't have that conversation, who's going to raise my kid? For myself and millions of other moms out there, they choose to stay home if it's possible.
There are a lot of mothers that are doctors, lawyers.
Thank you.
And they pull it off just fine. That's what nannies and au pairs are for. And they don't work all the time, but they do, and they're teaching they're teaching their children to be responsible.
Yes.
And to the workforce that their daughters don't have to just make babies and get babies.
Listen. I don't have a problem
She
with
went there.
women in the workforce doing professional jobs.
I have 4 children.
What I'm saying is to make that quality time with your child. If you're
My
a doctor,
children, I have quality time with my children. I have 4 teenagers, and they're not out getting pregnant. My son is valedictorian of his class, and I am a working mom. and I've always had them with a babysitter, and my children are not on drugs.
Well, you know what?
That's great, but there are a lot
Look at
of
the two moms. Look at the two moms going like head to head right
a lot
now.
of people out there don't have somebody
A
to
lot
watch.
of people, okay, but those people that are just sending their
Wait.
to a center with
Well,
them,
first of all,
you're
time out.
taking it all wrong.
First of all, this is not a personal attack on either one of your choosing on how to be a mother, okay? What we're trying to see is what defines whether or not a mom is a good mom if she chooses her career over her child. And that could be relative, but the point is we got to get these two perspectives. So let's get one from Miranda, who's not a mom.
I'm not. Well, I think it's really interesting when you say what makes a good mother and what makes a bad mother. I think a good mother is someone, she might not be there all the time, but she's able to put in the time that's needed to be there for her child, like my mom did. My mother was, we're a lower middle class family. She had to go in at 9 and she didn't come home until 6 o'clock. So I would have to, go 5 hours after my school day without my mother, and my father was there basically to raise us during those afternoons. But she put in the time. She was always at my
So
assemblies.
you were a latchkey kid.
I guess.
I was a latchkey kid.
And are you a drug addict?
No, I'm not a drug addict. I mean, I take drugs when I need them.
I had
Were you
sex in
having
high
sex
school,
after
and
school?
I did. I had sex
Now
after
listen to
school.
this.
I'm just gonna put it out there. I did, and had nothing to do whether my mom was there or not. Because I can tell you this: kids will find a way. Period.
Yeah.
Okay.
They will find a way.
All right.
Whether your
Yes.
mama is there or not.
Oh, no.
Okay, but
Yeah.
listen.
And their mama can be in the same other room.
Well, this is not an attack on you, though, Linda.
Okay, but let me get what I'm trying to say. Okay, basically, what I'm trying to say, women in high-profile jobs, okay, professional jobs, they have the money, they can afford to have the best education for their kids, give them whatever they want. But that also opens up a door for better drugs. Better things like that, easier to come by. And, you don't have to be a lower class,
Do you think
know,
their moral
family-
compasses are
but what I'm
intact, basically, if they don't have their parents around?
No, but what I'm trying to say is these women that are in these jobs, if they don't make that quality time when they come home from work, how are you, honey? Make a conversation, make it about
Yeah, I
them.
agree with that.
Or when they're off,
I
take
agree.
them someplace where they know that they're special and they're not just gonna be forgotten.
These are both really great points as far as whether or not a woman is defined as a good mom if she's working full-time or is her full-time career basically staying at home with the children. I have to tell you, all of you guys know her by name and by face, Shirley MacLaine. She is a world-famous actress, and she put her career first every single time. But just recently, Oprah Winfrey did an interview with her daughter. It was based on a best-selling novel. And you know what it's about? The fact that her mom was not there. Shirley MacLaine was so for some people would guess, obsessed with her career, she forgot to spend the quality time with her daughter. Her daughter hardly even knew her mom. She just knew her through television, through films. That was it. So I can support and understand what Linda was saying as far as mothers not being there and the children growing up with nannies or with strangers for that matter, or their peers. God forbid their peers give them advice. But then I have to admit that I'm a latchkey kid. My mom had to work from 8 o'clock until 6 o'clock in the evening, and I didn't see her until around 7 or 8, and I turned out just fine.
You know something?
think-
It takes a village to raise a child. The mom may not be there, but you have the babysitter, you have the grandmom, you have the granddad, and everything. Career women. Let me think about another person, Beyonce. Beyonce
Yeah.
makes such great songs that everybody, like, look at the 17 or more songs that lady just dropped. I'm no shaky person like Beyonce, but when I hear her song in the bathroom, I'm shaking to it. She leaves Blue
Oh, we're going to
Ivy.
another subject. She's about to go there.
She leaves Blue Ivy and go and perform. And, imagine if she told her, you know what, I got so much money, I got $300 million, I'm just going to stay home and don't make music. Blue Ivy, come here, let me take care of you every time. She's like,
Yeah,
you know what?
but that would be her choice. I mean,
Well, but her
it doesn't
choice-
matter if you have a how much money you have. I mean, it just depends on what you do with it.
But she's still
True.
a great mother. She's still a great mother, but still bringing a great music for the entire universe. for the entire year. I mean, you like
Whether her music is great or not doesn't even matter.
Julia Roberts has 3 children, and she started her family later in life because she was 40, I think, when she started.
Well, that's almost questionable because you're supporting Linda's point, and that point was Julia Roberts does have a lot of money. She had a great career, but I guarantee when she was having her children, she was not on set working.
She was in a pool on one of her sets.
Pregnant. When she gave birth, when she had kids, though, was she still working, or was she taking that time to spend with her children only?
The kids are still minors.
Yeah, she still does it. She still works, and there is a fine balance. You can do it. Women can do it.
Yes.
Women can do it, and their children will come out fine. They just have to balance. And
Balance. I was hoping somebody would say it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know something? Speaking of Julia Roberts, she said that her husband was in full support of the movie she just recently did. She said, it was my whole family when I thought about moving to LA and everything. He kind of pitched in, and he even encouraged me, to do this movie. So balance, like you said.
Go ahead, Miranda.
I believe it has to do with your family network. Who do you have that's going to be supporting you while you're working?
So there can be triumphs in this whole situation.
There can be, but I mean, there have to be people that you trust, there are people out there that will abuse your child or, not watch them like you would if you were home. But I'm just saying, there are those people out there, so you just have to be careful. I mean, I'm not saying every child that has a mom that works is going to fall into all these problems.
So this is what becomes the huge challenge that everyone wants to argue about, is that when a woman is working, she has children, this is what quality time is defined as. Is she going to make it to Johnny's soccer practice? Is she going to make it to Julia's cheerleading practice? Is she going to take me out to sell my Girl Scout cookies, Mom? That is what becomes the issue, because that's what some people consider quality time, doing homework with them, spending time where it counts, not Skyping while she's at the office. That's some options that people use, not one of my favorites. But Miranda, have you ever heard scenarios that are like this where moms are just pretty much missing important topics and issues and situations with their children that the kids just are unhappy about? Or maybe they're glad.
I had friends in high school who, their mothers weren't there when we were at I had choir, and when they weren't at their performances, they weren't at the dinners and stuff like that. And you could see it on their faces that, they were disappointed, the fact that they were alone and I was with my mother. I mean, I have the opposite thing. My mom was always there for me where my father wasn't. So, I mean, I have that. It's the opposite with me. Thing is, though, when it comes to women, they're expected to be at these dinners. They're expected to be at the recitals because they're supposed to be the nurturing side. It's not the father who's the professional career man who, who doesn't have to be there. My father's absence affected me more than my mother actually being there, but that's besides the point. I feel that as long as there's one parent there supporting you, encouraging you, it can be like your uncle, it could be your grandfather, as long as there's somebody there for you, I feel like you're gonna be just fine.
So that takes the pressure off of the working mom.
It's not always, I wasn't always at all of my children's baseball games. Sometimes I had to be at one baseball game versus another because I have 3 boys. And so you balance it out. You go to some of them and you don't have to be to all of them because without you even being there, you are there.
Okay, Irene, how did it make you feel, though, as a mom, and you couldn't make it to one of your children's game? You knew if they scored, you weren't there to celebrate in that moment. How did it make you feel as a mom, a working mom?
Video cameras. My pretend sister, I'm an only child. My pretend sister always videotaped everything for me, and so I could watch it that way. And
again, how did it make you feel not being there, though?
My mind was somewhere else. I didn't, not that I didn't care not being there, but I knew that I would hear about it and it would be okay, that it was okay because I was somewhere else. I had to be somewhere else.
And your kids understood that?
And my kids understood that. Sometimes I had to be at work and I had to close somebody's job because they died, and so.
She's a nurse, by the way.
And so I had to be in hospice care and I couldn't always be there. And my kids just knew Mom was at work. It's okay, Mom's at work. Someone else is here for me. My aunt's here. My dad's here. Their dad
Yeah,
always
I mean,
went to
that's
every-
how I feel. As long as there's somebody there to support
And
the
their
child.
other siblings were there sometimes,
yeah.
and just it's.
But the thing about it, it makes a great conversation for the dinner table.
It
Hey, daughter, how was your
Or when you're out to
game?
brunch.
Yeah,
Right.
how was your game today? I mean, you guys are very, very lucky over here. I come from a family of athletes, okay? A lot of the parents in Africa and internationally are not there for the kids' game, but there's the radio, they listen to the score. Oh my God, my son scored today. Oh my God, Bendo, how did you do in your kickball game? Oh my God, Bendo, you said your team won the first place. I mean, it made great conversation,
great.
and I will never, ever feel left out because my mom wasn't there, my dad wasn't there. My dad was at none of my game, but you know what, the conversations we had later on.
Okay, so these are really strong, valid points of views, but I mean, again, we still have a mom who's very firm in the fact that having her presence there is important. So, again, did you share in this same philosophy, or are you still, sticking to your guns that there's no way a working mom should continue to work when she has children she should be present with the entire time?
Well, I mean, I don't think women always have to make sacrifices, no matter whether it's work or between your children. And what you were saying, Irene, in regards to if you can't be at one child's baseball game, we can record it, and you can watch it and be involved there. And to me, I do feel that yes, like if I couldn't make it to one of my girls' recitals or something, I'd be torn up inside.
Yes.
Because those are my babies. I want to see it. And if I can't see it, the next best thing is to have it recorded, and so you can watch it with them and be excited at the same time. Because when I was growing up, I mean, I was in the drill team, dance team, I was in a play, and not one time did my parents show up.
Oh.
I get it.
It's hurtful, but my sister was always there. And I just want to be there for my children.
Oh, honey.
Because it just affects me because I see, I want to be a good mom. I want to be there for my kids. And just like for when things happen in your life, you want to change it. You want to make sure that you're there for your kids. You don't want to have somebody else, a babysitter or somebody instead of you. That's why it's so important for me to be able to be a part of my child's everything. With your children, it's just important to be able to talk to them, hug them, kiss them, let them know you love them, even if you're not there. That's so important. Just even asking, how was your game or how was your recital? It just makes a world of difference in how a child perceives the whole situation.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I do too. I totally agree. And when I'm not there with my children, they know that I'm in their heart.
Good point.
Yeah, I mean, I
That was
agree,
very Hallmark.
As, oh my God. As someone who knew my mom was there and she asked me how my day was and how things were going and stuff like that, she really impacted me. She showed me that she loved me, that she was going to support me no matter what, through the tough times. Even if my dad wasn't there for me emotionally, my mother was going to be. And she was a tremendous inspiration to me, and I completely respect my mother, and I just want more mothers like her, someone who's working but loves their children, goes to their recitals, goes to their choir concerts, and encourages them, supports them.
Let me just reiterate, my mom was a working mom because she had to. She had to. But there are a lot of women out there who have the option of making the choice. I'm one of those women. I'm at an age in my life where I'm constantly getting from people, don't you want a family? Don't you want kids? I do. I want a little ISIS. However, I know that I am so adamant about achieving my career goals that I'll be too selfish to really invest the quality time that I would need to put into a human being who didn't have the choice of being here. Okay, and that's really the bottom line. And so for me, and I think speaking for a lot of women who want both, you have to be mature and coming up to that conclusion on what comes first. That's really the bottom line, because once you have a child, that child is dependent on you to show them love, however you may give it. Thank God for modern technology, you know, that we have Skype. But what if it breaks down? Then what are you gonna do?
Skype is not going to break down. Trust me, it's even going to get better.
Yeah. You go Skype.
Hopefully. Hopefully that'll be the case. But then what you're saying is that moms, go ahead, have children and have your career because you can rely on Skype, right?
I still go ahead and have your career. Why put it aside? I mean, kids, statistics show that whether you're home or not home, both sections, the kids are doing okay. The kids are doing okay. It's a matter of balance, of finding that substitute,
finding that
or
balance.
finding that person, you know, that would be there if you're not there. If you find that right person to be there while you're not there, trust me, the kids will come out okay. And no matter what side of the fence you're on, Linda's side or whatever.
I kind of feel like it's like being in Vegas. You're rolling the dice, right? I mean, honestly, you don't know how your kids may turn out if you're not the one there watching them. If you're not there, you're really rolling the dice because who knows if grandma smiley face is going to make sure that your kid is inside before the lights go out on the street. You know how the rule is.
Even when you are there are house moms that are raising children that are drug addicts and alcoholics.
Thank you.
Yeah, but their whole family dynamic is different. You know, like they might have a drug problem themselves. You know, there could be all different types of issues why these kids fall in.
Well, that's all the time that we have left. But as you know, a stimulating topic like this doesn't die easily. You've heard our voices. Now it's time for us to hear yours. Go onto our blog. Let us know, what do you think? Is it career or children? And if you're a mom, how does that make you feel? We'll see you next week.
Bye.